Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee. If you'd like a private reading, tarot reading, hit that link down below at the stand store and we'll get that all set up for you. So today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Knight of Vessels. And we've got two knights down here. We still got the Knight of Arrows. The first one fell off, so we still have the second one down here. We got two pages. Okay, so a lot of messages coming in. And you still got the King of Stones down here with the wolf. So, you know, as I was getting into this card today, the one thing that always comes up for me on this card is the sword that's in the stone, right here, right? And you know, as I think about that, you know, knights are those fighter tacticians, right? And this is the Knight of Vessels is. He's a wise protector, okay? Again, with vessels, it's all about water and emotions and in relationships, it's love. But this eel brings this purity to him, some wisdom, some maturity, and they like to express their deep feelings. Whereas we talked about the page in the otter, he's kind of got that playful aspect to him. This knight is a little bit more serious. Okay, so where the otter is wearing the emotions on their sleeve, the knight, he will not have it on his sleeve, but you can tell when he's serious about stuff or not. And you can see this in your dreams and visions, that, you know, there's going to be some dreams and visions that, you know, the message comes through and it's going to be very playful. Right? It's going to be a lot of playing going on, you know, in water, possibly. Water is also about rebirth. But with this eel is very serious with what's going on. He's brandishing that sword as he's coming forward. Not really fast energy, but yet at the same time, not as fast as the Knight of Arrows, but at the same time, you know, he's not going to be subtle in the way he communicates, right? So if this is a person that's in your life, or if this is you, it's going to be somebody that's cultured, okay? A charmer. They're going to be very sensitive to their feelings, to their intuitions, and to, you know, their emotions. They're going to be sensitive to others, okay? They're going to be very imaginative, okay? So, you know, think of, you know, somebody that, you know, likes to create stories, all right? The eel is going to know the dream world, just as all the vessel court cards. You know, they're in tune with the dream world. Okay, just like the King of Stones as the guardian to the underworld. You know, the pages, the knights, the queens, the King of Vessels. They're all part of the dream world, the dreamy aspect. You know, the psychic aspect, the subconscious aspect as well, okay? This eel is going to have high emotions, going to be very seductive, smooth talker. So, you know, watch for those people, or maybe that's you with that characteristic, as you're talking with somebody about what's been going on here the last couple of days. And we've been talking finances. I really feel like this is more of a finance thing, you know, type reading. Than it is relationship, but it could be a relationship as well, right? So watch for somebody that's coming up to you, male or female, that's got that smooth tongue, all right? That's kind of, you know, charming you. You know, whether it's, you know, you're out to dinner by yourself or something like that, and somebody comes up to you and says, you know, starts talking, right? You know, if this is an aspect, it's, you know, as they're talking to you, the aspect would be finding agreement, okay? And what I like about this is, you know, finding like-minded people, okay, that are with you. And they're going to have a great concept, okay? And they're going to have some harmony with what's going on as they're talking to you. If this is an event, it's going to be a welcoming, a guest type thing. So, you know, somebody's coming in, you know, say you're walking into a hotel, right? And, you know, the first thing, you know, the person behind the counter says is, you know, hey, welcome to such and such hotel. You know, that's part of their job, but that's just an idea of an event. And it's also an event of looking within. So looking within yourself, all right? You know, so you might be talking with somebody and they're asking questions around, you know, well, how do you feel about this? right? So that's looking within. So, the court cards always ask a couple questions. In this one, Knight's asking you, where are your emotions running high? Okay, with the finances that are going down, and we'll start in that aspect, where are your emotions running high when it comes to, talking about that finance with, that advisor, that mentor, right? The Page of Stones is asking you, what can you learn from this situation? So you went out, you investigated a little bit, and you're talking with somebody, and, like a lot of, I don't want to say your financial advisor is a salesperson, but, if they come at you matter-of-factly and practically, then there's not really a lot of high emotion, okay? As I talked about yesterday and the day before with the King of Stones, the Wolf, it's taking things as a business-like approach, okay, and understanding, how you're going about your process, right? And then, the King of Stones, he's asking you, where is life offering you its riches, okay? So, where do you have to, express yourself, I don't want to say sensitively, but, where are your emotions high when it comes to that question of, where is life offering you its riches, okay? Again, if you're taking that business-like approach, it's even keel, nice and calm, right? The Page of Vessels says, where do you need to let your feelings show, all right? If you're sitting down with that financial guy, you're not letting his feelings show because you don't want to give him any idea, right? So, here you're keeping everything even keel, okay? And that Knight of Arrows, it's all about what do you need to stand up for. So if you have an idea on what you want to do and you're dedicated to it, all right, then you're going to keep things moving in the direction you want to move, okay, and keeping that even keel, emotional fortitude going forward. And that's the same thing in a new relationship, right? Don't let everything out of the bag. Don't share everything. Keep some things to yourself. And it's a matter of, just looking at it and saying, you know what? I need to build up some trust with you, okay, before I can move forward. All right. So, I am not, I enjoy being with you. I enjoy your company. But yet at the same time, no highs or lows in a relationship, right? Nice, even keel. And, as things get deeper and there's a little bit more dedication to each other and, there's some passion with that Ace of Bows moving on, then you can start having a little bit, higher trajectory in that relationship aspect. The other question that this Knight of Vessels in this EO asks is, where do you need to express things sensitively? Okay, as you're having a conversation with that financial person, okay, let them know that you're anxious about this. You're not stressed out, but you're anxious. Let them know that you have some doubts. Let them know that you have some confusion, okay? But do so in an area where you still feel confident, all right? You still feel the enthusiasm of what's going on, all right? What data do you need to make a good decision from that Page of Stones? Staying focused on the task at hand, asking the important questions of, what's the ROI, or, what happens if it goes too high or goes too low, right? The King of Stones, okay, where he says, where do you need to, provide support? You're looking for that support from your financial guy, all right, saying, okay, will there be an issue if I say, hey, sell, or will there be an issue if I say, hey, buy, right? Where do you need to express stuff sensitively if by having that deeper trust? Hey, I trust you to do the right things with my money, but I'm going to be watching what's going on, okay? And I'm going to be, letting you know how I feel, around certain aspects. And that Knight of Arrows is, where might you be, wrongly informed? Looking at it from a higher perspective, okay, you've done your research. You understand, hey, this is what may happen. This is, whether it's a high or a low. And if you look at that within a relationship, okay, it's giving out that information that, could be harmful to you, okay? So you need to express things sensitively. A good case in point is, saying something to the aspect of, hey, if we're together, I appreciate you wouldn't put our relationship out into social media, right? Everybody doesn't need to know what's going on between you and I, all right? And if there's some agreement with that, that's great. But, as soon as something happens where, hey, I heard that, you put our date out there on Twitter, all right? That's against the rule that I set up with you. That's where you have to have that sensitive conversation. And if all that is happening in a relationship, then guess what? You really don't need, it's kind of like they broke that rule with you, okay? That, hey, that wasn't a good decision about our relationship, all right? And I really have to think about this. And that's not really what I'm standing up for, okay? And, at the same time, if you can find somebody that's like that and say, hey, let's keep our I don't want to say, keep our relationship hidden, but everybody in the world doesn't need to know what's going on, in that relationship. It's just between you and me. It's not between me and a million other people, right? If we decide to go someplace, then we need to keep that to ourselves, right? Now, if things are different and, things, there's that dedication and things are moving forward, then yeah, we can express the joy and the happiness that we're having. Okay, but, to put things out there on Facebook and Twitter and social media, they don't need to know what's going on between us, right? Or between you and another significant other. So that's just my take, on that part of it, expressing things sensitively within a relationship. So that's today's card of the day, the Knight of Vessels and the Eel. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, give me a thumbs up. And as I said, if you'd like a private reading, hit that Stand Store link down below. And this is Dee for the Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe, everybody.